Okay, so this is a new video tutorial. We're dealing with the beginning of Revit in relation to the project we're dealing with, which is again the Pratt Student Union on campus. And we're going to be dealing with exterior, so we actually can get an idea of where the light is going to be coming through the windows or through the door, etc. We're not going to be dealing with details, although you could make them in Revit. This is not again an exterior rendering we're searching for. We're searching for a space similar to the proposal that they're going to construct, but obviously with a more kind of a radical statement through this idea that we're following through the course. Okay, so let's get started with this. Another thing that's important to say is that you have this link here under Tutorial Revit LMS. These are actually 9 videos that allow you to follow up on the process, entire process from the beginning to the end of the entire Revit part of the semester. You're going to be able to engage with these videos after 2 or 3 that we're going to be elaborating to start our particular project. Remember that this project is relating to a different site, but nevertheless, all the comments or commands and tools that they're using after a specific point are exactly the same. So we'll let you know in the video like when you should start jumping into these video tutorials. Okay. Great. So let's start with it. I'm going to go to Revit and we'll start with this page, and I'm going to say a new architectural template. Okay. You should save that. So I'm going to say save. I already saved the one here, Union, so I'm going to just save it the same. Okay, you just can save it for the first time. And we also need to start a new conceptual mass. This is a type of family that allows us to insert the masses from Rhino. There's only one option here, and you should see that one. And it has a different interface. Okay. I'm not going to explain much of this because we will talk about it in classes and how it works, or the basics of this interface. I'm going to continue now with Rhino and start how our project base is, and I'm going to just turn off the dimensions, select our base, and what we need to do in order to bring it to Revit is actually export selected. I'm going to take it into my folders that I created. I recommend that you also organize your folders similarly. Like I have like a folder with Revit files, and it has 3 elements. Okay, and I have another folder with Rhino files that has all the Rhino elements. So we're going to export it as SAT. And we can just save it in the Rhino files, and we can call it the same way, like let's say base project. Okay, I'm going to say save. Here we're going to say OK to the defaults. And we're going to minimize that to return to Revit and the conceptual mass to be able to insert, import cat, and search for that Rhino SAT file. We can say all supported files here, and there is. Make sure that it says origin to origin and say open. If it's a complex model, it should take a while, but in this case it's very simple. So, and there you have it. Okay, you should save this file too, and save it into Revit files, conceptual masses, and you can call it as well base mass project. Okay, save. So we have that one, and then now we need to actually load into project. Okay, it's gonna click there. If you only have one project open, it's just going to go automatically to that one. If you have 2 projects, it's going to ask you to what project you want to send it. So you want to send it to Union 1. Okay, I'm going to just say do not explain that in a bit, and close that. Now it wants to place it anywhere. It's like manually placement. So I'm going to actually escape that, and I'm going to go double click on site view. This view here that has the origin point, and I'm going to click under architecture. I'm going to click component. It's going to bring the latest loaded family, in this case our base, and then I can click and select the origin point. Okay, so that's actually the way to make sure that our base project is exactly related to the 00. I'm going to select the entire elevation mark, not just one, but exactly the entire. So I'm dragging and selecting the whole thing and moving so it's actually placed in a proper position in relation to our new building. Okay, good time to save. I'm going to go to 3D and see that we have conceptual mass incorporated from Rhino into our project in Revit. Okay. Now we need to select and create walls. So I'm going to go to walls. Now we could create actually a wall the same way we've been dealing with or talking about is height to what level and then from 2 points. But it is not the type of wall we want to create. So I'm going to escape that. Okay. And I'm going to expand the button of walls to create wall by face. Okay, I need to select the proper wall. We're going to actually trust that is a brick on CMU option. We're going to be able to select different faces. Okay, I'm going to select this face. Now notice that you can actually, make it go inwards, or if I escape that and Control C, say wall by face, I can change the location line to finish face interior. Select the face again, and it goes outwards. I think outwards is a good option. I'm going to select all the periphery walls. Okay. I'm going to escape that. That's good. And we're going to do a very simple roof as well. We have to span the roof option, say by face. And I'm not sure what type of roof because we don't have any photograph, but I'm just going to select the generic 12 and select here on the top this face and this face and say create roof. Okay. Good. If you go back to the image, it seems like this is actually like a detail in the corner, so we don't care too much about this. Okay. Let's go back to Revit. Now, one important thing to note is that under massing inside, let me actually select the roofs and right-click hide elements here. I can actually select my mass, the previous one I loaded into project. I can turn off and turn on the mass. So there's actually a point where the masses won't be useful to you, and you will just turn them off so you start working only from the project perspective. Okay, so I'm going to turn on my roof, right click, unhide elements, and click on the light bulb. All these hopefully will have been explained during class, which should be fine. Okay, and we don't have the mask there, so we can go to level 1 and see how the level 1 looks, very clean. Level 2 as well, very clean. We can go to the side view. We can go to ceiling plan, level 1. We can go to elevations, level 1. The side elevations to see what the project is or looks like. Okay, good. So to create the different elements, by the way, we could also create a section at this point, whatever we think is best. Just going to create one very simple here and another section here. Okay, you can always go to the sections that appear automatically by double clicking and seeing how they look like. Okay, and also to the other section to see how that is. Notice that the thickness of the lines are properly set, so everything is fine. We need probably a floor in the bottom, so let's do that. Level 1. We're going to go actually to architecture, floor, and we're going to create a floor for now with generic 12 inches. And what we could do is include, and again that would have been explained in class hopefully, it's another set of layers. So the first thing you always need to do if you're going to modify the floor or wall is actually to rename it by duplicating and saying generic, let's say for example wood floor, and we can say 12 inches. Say okay, once you have duplicated, you can easily edit the structure, preview to see how that looks, minimize that, and change all the layers that exist within your floor. You can insert and move the new layer you create. These are actually the layers from top to bottom, and change the function to be a finish floor. Change the material of that new layer by clicking on that button and searching for sample wood. Say for example oak flooring, and give it a thickness, for example, of 1 inch. That is aggregated automatically. I'm going to reduce this structural floor to 11 inches and then say OK. So this is actually our new floor that we can very easily sketch and click 2 times to create a floor, and we're doing it at level 1. Say OK. 3D, and there we have it. So also the sections will incorporate that floor properly. Okay. We could potentially select this element and raise it, but we don't know exactly to what height, so we're going to just leave it there, and not, usually we're not taking this little arrows and changing the architecture according to that. Okay. So at this point we have like a very simple project base, and what we need to do is start incorporating windows and so we can actually create windows by clicking on window and searching for types of windows that we have. 36. You could think that's actually the window you want, or you can actually load a family if you don't find the window you want within the list at the property. So you can go to Windows, search for all the windows you have by just pressing Control and the center button to see all of them. And now it becomes a little tricky because we just need to go back and forth from this option and try to select the most appropriate one. I'm just going to select one for now. It's probably the casement one. Just one of the first, casement 3x3 with trim. Okay, you can also just go further and search for other windows that might be appropriate to you. Okay, could be slider with trim. Just going to use the casement one. Okay. Now I had several options as well, different sizes. And we're going to click. We don't know what height exactly. So what we need at this point is to understand the number on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different windows. So what we could do is very easily copy them, set multiple, and really copy them a bit randomly. Eight of them. So obviously we need to kind of organize them properly. So the way to do that will be from the elevation. So we can go to the south elevation to see all of them. Start organizing them properly. According to the image, I would probably imagine this is actually around 16 feet. Again, if you had that number set properly, that you can do that a bit more exactly. What I'm going to do is actually create a reference plane. Create a reference plane here. I'm going to type DI to create a dimension, which is, by the way, under annotate, and this option is DI. And what we can do is select the reference plane and then the number to set it, for example, to 15 feet. Okay, and now we can use the align tool under modify. This tool is AL. AL allows you to align objects. And the way it works is you select first a line or a plane that you want to align something to, and then second the part you want to align it to. So it's that one, and it will go and link there. You have to do those 2 selections every time. Okay. I'm going to create a dimension, DI shortcut, and I'm going to go from center axis of the window to center axis of the window, clicking all of them carefully. Notice that they're all like spaced differently, so I'm going to say okay, and they're now organized equally, but at the same time we have to center them properly. So what we could do is actually Control C that, and DI again from the center of the wall to the window, to the window, to the window, to the window center axis, and again to the center of the wall. I don't know if you can see that snapping there. You bring it out, and now we can click on equal, and now all of them have the equal distance, so that they're also center. We can delete that one. It's going to tell us, are you sure you want? Because it's actually a constraint that could be interesting to maintain. Well, we're just going to say no. Okay, so this is a way that we're going to keep working. More on the levels are in the other videos. I'm more interested at this point on the idea of how we can actually create that shell of our project. Okay, I'm going to stop this one. There will be another video right after.